Story title: He vanished after our wedding. Then I found out why. Chapter 1: The Day He Disappeared. It was exactly 13 days after our wedding when Daniel disappeared. I remember because the laundry basket still held the clothes we wore on our honeymoon, and his toothbrush was still damp from that morning. He kissed me goodbye before work, like always. Said, "Don't forget, dinner at Mom's this Friday." I nodded. He smiled. Normal, routine, boring even. And then he didn't come home. No missed calls, no angry texts, no note. By midnight, I started to worry. By 2 a.m., I called his phone. It rang 4 times before going to voicemail. I left a message. "Hey, just checking. You okay?" He never called back. By 6 a.m., I called his work. They said he didn't show up, didn't call in. Nothing. By 9 a.m., I was at the police station. "He's an adult," they said. "He might have just needed space." But Daniel wasn't the type to ghost. Not me. Not anyone. He replied to spam emails. He once mailed a handwritten apology to a coworker for snapping during flu season. Something was wrong. I spent the day calling hospitals, jails, car impounds. Nothing. His car was still parked 2 blocks away, the same spot he always left it. His phone was found in the apartment, still charging on his nightstand. His clothes, his wallet, his keys, all untouched. It was like he vanished mid-thought. By midnight, I was sitting on the couch staring at the wedding photo still on the wall. We looked so happy, but the smile he gave that day didn't match the one he wore when he left. And the more I replayed it, the more it felt rehearsed. I should have known then. This wasn't just a disappearance. It was the beginning of something much deeper, something buried. And I was about to start digging. His phone was still charging. The police didn't take it seriously. "No signs of struggle," they told me. "He'll probably turn up." But his phone was still on the nightstand, charging. No wallet, no keys, just gone. I opened his phone, no passcode, nothing strange in the messages. The last one: "Love you. Don't forget dinner at Mom's." But in the deleted emails, a thread from someone signed MT. "We said after the wedding, you promised. I can't wait forever." My hands shook. This wasn't just running away. This was running towards something or someone, and I wasn't ready to stop digging. The last thing he said was too perfect. "Don't forget dinner at Mom's." His last words, casual, routine, too perfect. It sounded rehearsed, like he knew it would be the last time. The week before, he'd been overly kind. Breakfast in bed, long hugs, listening too closely. I thought it was love. But now I knew it was guilt. Only one thing was missing: his brown duffel bag. He didn't plan to leave. He planned to vanish. I called his mother. She didn't sound shocked. "Daniel's missing," I told her. Pause. Then, "Oh, honey, not panic, not shock, just tired acceptance." "He's always had a way of running," she whispered. I realized I wasn't the first person he disappeared from, and I probably wouldn't be the last. I found his second apartment. I checked our credit card statements. A recurring charge stood out: monthly payments to a storage unit across town. When I visited, the clerk let me in after I showed proof of marriage. It wasn't a unit. It was an apartment, couch, clothes, toothbrush, a fridge with takeout leftovers. He had a life there. Then I saw the photo on the fridge, Daniel, smiling, arm around a woman I didn't recognize. She wasn't just a friend. She looked like home to him. The woman in the picture frame. I showed the photo to a few people. One of my college friends recognized her almost immediately. "That's Mara Thomas. She's a paralegal, downtown. Used to date some guy named Mark." "Why?" I mumbled something vague, but inside, I was screaming. MT. The emails, the initials, the woman on Daniel's fridge. I drove to her office the next day, parked across the street, just watched. She looked calm, smiling. She laughed with coworkers like life was normal. How could someone be so at ease when they were part of someone else's collapse? She didn't look like a threat, but neither did Daniel. She wasn't a villain, just another life he'd tried to live alongside mine. He didn't leave me for her. He left because he couldn't face the fallout of choosing either. He vanished, trying to avoid the wreckage. I was the wife. She was the secret. There's a difference between being cheated on and being forgotten. Mara wasn't an affair. She was a fantasy, an alternate route Daniel kept parked in a storage unit apartment. I was the wife, the legal, dependable, everyday partner. She was the secret, the optional version of his life. I wondered if she knew about me, if her laugh ever faltered when she noticed his wedding ring was missing. I gathered every document, every email, every timestamp, and I gave it all to the police. I wasn't asking them to bring him back. I just wanted someone to admit it wasn't my imagination, that I really had been replaced without a word, that I wasn't crazy, just left behind. He was running from someone, but it wasn't me. They found him in a cheap motel 3 states away, checked in under a fake name, alone. When they told me, I flew out. I needed to see his face, hear his voice, ask nothing and everything. He looked thinner, haggard, like a man who had forgotten how to sleep. I sat across from him in the visitor's room. He opened his mouth and said one word. Sorry. Not for what he did, but for how small he had become. He said he didn't leave me because of her. He left because he was terrified of both of us, of letting down the version of himself each of us believed in. So he ran, and kept running until there was no one left to disappoint but himself. The truth. He couldn't say out loud. I thought marrying you would fix me, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I thought love would change me. It didn't. He wasn't lying when he said he loved me. But love without courage is just sentiment. He wasn't a monster. He was a man afraid of being ordinary. I told him I didn't hate him, but I didn't love him anymore either, because the man I married vanished long before he disappeared. I didn't forgive him, but I finally let him go. He asked if I could ever forgive him. I didn't answer, because forgiveness isn't owed, it's earned, and he hadn't even begun to try. I left the station without a hug, without a goodbye, just the echo of a woman who chose peace over closure. People ask me if I still think about him. I do, but not with pain, with gratitude, because loving him taught me everything I needed to know about leaving, and now I live in a home I chose, in a life I built, alone but whole. He vanished, but I returned to myself.